Welcome to ADHD Power Tools, where we give you the tools to unlock the power within. Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk to you about revenge bedtime procrastination. I want to ask you, Brooke, today, what is revenge bedtime procrastination, and what are some tools for it?
So revenge bedtime procrastination has been really popular recently in the ADHD field,
Yeah.
especially with COVID. So in layman's terms, what it is you are not going to sleep at the time that you intended to,
Mm-hmm.
and you're staying up doing other things. And then you are taking revenge on the sleep. So, for instance, you have a long working day,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say it ends at 7 or 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And typically you would like to go to bed at 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're done at 8 p.m. So now there's only 2 hours to eat, to relax before you have to wake up, rinse, and repeat. So with the stress of working from home that so many people have right now, where working is just bleeding into your day. They don't call it work from home anymore. It's live at work.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
People are now taking revenge on their sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So some scientists say it's an intention gap. So you intend to go to bed at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m., but you are not. So there's a gap in your intention. So you're not following your intention.
Okay.
But the negative effects, of course, of not going to sleep at a time that works for you is that you stay up later.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you go to bed at 12 instead of 10, but you wake up at the same time that you would have had you gone to bed at 10. So now you're
Mm-hmm.
waking up, let's say at 6 a.m. There's 6
Mm-hmm.
hours of sleep. And they say for the ADHD brain that we need more sleep, generally speaking. So I can't tell you what the right amount of sleep for you is, but generally speaking, it's anywhere from 8 to 10 hours for the ADHD brain.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going into your sleep, your reliable sleep, and sleep is everything. Everything starts
Yes.
with sleep.
100%.
It's like spiral because you wake up at a time, you don't get enough sleep, you're tired, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say you sleep in and now you're pushing your whole sleep schedule
Yep.
till later. And so it affects your mood, it can affect your anxiety, it can affect depression, it can affect all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's happening.
100%. This it happens to me a lot, the revenge bedtime procrastination. 100%. I go to UFIT. UFIT closes at 12. It closes at midnight, and that's one of the reasons I go to UFIT. And I usually sleep around 12 to 1. And I love 8 to 9 hours of sleep. I like that. Usually people tell me they're doing 6 and 7. I'm like, no way. I need those 8 and 9 hours of sleep. And sometimes I go to UFIT. It's a long day of studying, doing notes, work, projects, whatever it is. And I'm like, I need to work out. I need to work out today. And UFIT's open late. So I go to UFIT. I'm like, okay, right after UFIT, I'm going to go to sleep. I come back home, shower, do my workout, and I go to sleep. But instead, I come back home and revenge bedtime procrastinating comes in. And I'm like, oh, goodness. Next thing you know, it's 1:30. And I'm like, oh, no. And I'm rushing and I'm freaking out. And I got to go to sleep. Then I hop on the bed on my pillow. And what's next to me? My phone, this little
Yes.
device. And this device wants revenge as well. And I'm hanging out on my phone. And next thing you know, some days I'm sleeping at 2 a.m. And I'm like, oh, goodness. And obviously, many college students like me sleep around this time. It's a normal thing. But it's really intense, especially for me. And I bet many other ADHDers out there. The revenge bedtime procrastinating lurks, and it forces you to sleep later, and then you want to sleep in sometimes, and it creates a snowball effect.
Absolutely. So some tools,
Mm-hmm.
if you truly want to break the habit, is watching your caffeine intake.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. Watching your medication, making sure that you're taking it early enough so you're not staying up,
Yep.
right? Removing the electronics
Mm-hmm.
from your sleep area. Possibly in some of my clients that I'm working with, we talk about setting an alarm, but just to remind them that now you have an hour before sleep happens. So at that point, it's like, okay, what can I do at this point to wind down? Not try to start a new project, not try to cram anything in at this point. It's okay, this is my relaxation time that I'm allowing myself before I actually want to fall asleep. So, removing the electronics, um, being consistent also with your bedtime schedule. Because if you go to bed one night at 2 a.m. and then another night at 10 p.m., then your sleep schedule is all over the place and your body has a harder time regulating that. So we have to
100%.
create these patterns and routines that help. And ultimately, if you can regulate your sleep, get
Mm-hmm.
enough sleep, get reliable sleep, go to bed when you believe
Mm-hmm.
it's the right time for you and get that reliable sleep afterwards, then you will have a more productive day. And then, just side note, I know there are late sleepers out there. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you go to bed at 2 a.m. and you wake up at 10 a.m. and you sleep 8 hours, that's still 8 hours of sleep and it
Mm-hmm.
could be reliable.
Mm-hmm.
But scientists say that your best focus time is in the morning and it starts at 7 a.m. So just take that all with a grain of salt.
100%. Um, I those tools are super, super important. Making sure your phone, if you want, or any other distraction in the end of the day, is away from you at least a half an hour before you go to sleep. Instead of maybe using your phone, plan the next day ahead. Sit down, write on a piece of paper. What are you going to do? Plan out your next day, nice and easy peasy, and then go to sleep right after that. Check in with yourself before you go to sleep, and check in with yourself once you wake up. And try not to use any distractions to procrastinate. Use your time wisely throughout the day. Prioritize so you don't end up procrastinating, keeping everything till nighttime. And realize when you are procrastinating. This happens to me all the time. Sometimes I know I don't get as much as I need to get done during the day. And I'm like, oh goodness, I gotta finish it all right now tonight. Sometimes I don't really have to. Sometimes I did what I had to do, and maybe I can go to sleep early today and do it all tomorrow because I don't have to do it today. It's not due today, or I did enough. So set that. You have the humility to set the bar low enough for yourself each day, so it doesn't lead to that revenge bedtime procrastination.
Yeah. And I think that is huge. The whole prioritization, making sure you set your schedule and
Hmm.
not believing that you have to do things because you've procrastinated at
Hmm.
night.
Hmm.
And when we have these routines, not all routines are good routines, right? There's negative routines, there's positive routines, there's just routines that have neither a negative or a positive. When we have these, let's say, negative routines where we are procrastinating, staying up late, and it is impacting our reliable sleep, then that shapes our behaviors and they almost feel automatic, right? So
Hmm.
it's like,
Hmm.
okay, we just have to do that. So breaking the behavior and being very careful about how to break the behavior and the patterns and know that it's going to not be easy at first, but
100%. Yep.
once you create this new pattern and this new behavior, you'll have these new routines that are more positive for you and that you can actually rely on in the future. So it's never going to be easy at first. It
Never.
takes time
Yep.
to have be consistent and have it reliable.
100%. The two things between goals and achievement are discipline and consistency. Denzel Washington said that, and he said it best. I always remind myself about that little quote he said.
I love that. I love that. And with that, even going a level deeper, remembering why you have this goal.
Hmm.
So, how is it going to impact you if you don't go to sleep at 10 p.m. or whatever it is.
Hmm.
What's going to be the consequence after it? If there is no consequence and you have no reason why you're going to sleep at that time, then don't do it, right?
100%.
You believe that it has some importance to it and you need to go to bed by a certain time, to wake up by a certain time, to have reliable sleep and to function more properly and be more
Hmm.
focused during the day, then stay true to the reason why you started it.